Oh my! This chocolate chip cookie is yummy! And this bar of chocolate is yummiest! Oh, hey there, Mr. Chocolicious!
Hey, Dr. Binocs! Aren't I so delicious?
And you were once so precious! I mean, the chocolates inside you were once precious!
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yes, you were. Let me take you back to the roots of chocolate and also tell you how chocolate chip cookies and the first bar of chocolate were invented. Zoom in! Mayans from Central America were the first ones to discover chocolate in early 900 AD. They believed that the beans from the cocoa pods could be crushed and made into a liquid that would soon be a Mayan treat. But hey, the liquid wasn't sweet at all. It was rather made of chili peppers, cocoa beans and water. This is not so bad. But many believed that the discovery of chocolate goes back to 1900 BC, when the Mesoamericans considered cocoa beans to be a gift from the god of wisdom called Quetzalcoatl, who was later banished from the circle of gods for sharing a precious treasure to the humans. Poor Quetzalcoatl! Later, when the Aztecs took over the Mayans, they took taxes from the poor Mayans in the form of cocoa beans, as they couldn't grow cocoa themselves. This is when cocoa was used as a form of currency. Imagine, there was once a time when money actually grew on trees. It was believed that Christopher Columbus got cocoa beans to Europe during one of his world exploration expeditions. But since he got a bag full of other precious discoveries, the cocoa beans was kinda ignored. It was his fellow explorer, Don Hernan Cortes, who realized the commercial value of chocolate. And soon the tradition of drinking chocolate grew all over Europe, spread to England, and people are crazy about chocolate till today. Historians believe that somewhere in 1847, a chocolate manufacturing company named as Fry's Chocolate Factory invented the first bar of chocolate. Yes, they figured out a way to mix cocoa powder, sugar and cocoa to create a paste that could be pressed into a mold. And that's how, my friends, the first successful chocolate was made. Now, let me tell you about the absolutely delicious chocolate chip cookies. Many of you don't know that it was an accidental invention. That's right! An American chef called Ruth Graves Wakefield thought of making something new. So, she added some chocolate bits into her cookie dough and baked it. Poor chef thought that the chocolate bits would melt and she would get plain chocolate cookies for her customers. But to her surprise, the chocolate bits didn't melt and they became the ever so delicious chocolate chip cookies. Trivia time! Did you know that eating dark chocolate every day reduces the risk of heart diseases by 1/3? Chocolate has an antibacterial effect on the mouth, which protects against tooth decay. So friends, now when you eat chocolates, you'll exactly know how it came to being. So, this is me munching, crunching and feasting on some super awesome chocolates. Oh, wow! Tune in next time for more fun facts. This is me zooming out. Oh, I just love potato chips. Look at them. Yummy! Many of you don't know that the potato chips we eat today happen due to a lots of cuts. Like this. So today, I'll tell you about the invention of our favorite potato chips. Zoom in! So, the story of this amazing invention was super crunchy and munchy. There was once a chef named George Crumb who worked in a resort in Saratoga Springs, New York. He was a pretty good chef, and trust me when I say that.
Thank you, Dr. B.
It was one of those usual days for Chef Crumb in his kitchen, making the best dish his resort was known for, the French fries. While he was making the...
But you haven't talked about me.
Oh, yes, but don't worry. I'll definitely talk about you in some time.
Okay. La, 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 la.
Mr. Fry, you have to go so that I can complete the story.
Oh, sorry.
So, where was I?
You were talking about me making fries.
Oh, yes. So, George Crumb was making fries for a customer, and when those fries reached the customer's table, he didn't quite like it. He said that the fries were too thick. Poor Chef Crumb took those fries, cut them thinner, and served them again. But no, the customer didn't like it again. This made Crumb angry. He cut the fries paper thin and let them fry in oil till they turned crisp and brown. And then he added lots of salt to teach the customer a lesson. And when he served that to the customer, he loved it. This gave birth to the potato chips. They were known as the Saratoga chips. Soon people started making and selling potato chips, and they spread all over the world, right into your hands.
Now will you talk about me?
Oh yes, now is the time. Even though they are called French fries, they are not French. According to some stories, the origin of French fries goes back to the villages of Belgium, where people used to fry small fishes they caught from the rivers. But during winters, the rivers would freeze, making it almost impossible for them to catch any more fish. So, they turned to the potatoes. They would slice and fry potatoes just like how they fried fish. And that's how French fries came into being. So, happy now?
Very.
Trivia time! A packet of potato chips has more air than the chips because it is filled with nitrogen to keep the chips fresh and prevent them from breaking. A Californian woman named Laura Scudder was known as the potato chip queen because she was the first one to come up with the idea of putting potato chips in packets. While you're munching and crunching and watching this video, tell me, who invented the potato chips? My chips are waiting for me, so I'll go now. And you tune in next time for more fun facts. This is me zooming out. Hey everybody, guess where I am today? I am in ice cream land. This is so yummy. But have you ever thought what would happen to this tasty ice cream if we didn't have a cone to munch it with? Isn't it a wonderful invention?
You are right, Dr. Binocs. We're glad you're talking about us today.
I'm glad that you were invented, my friends. So, my little dearies, let's talk about how ice cream cones were invented. Zoom in! Many say that the man behind the invention of ice cream cones was Italo Marchionni, while some say that it was Ernest Hamway.
The cones were invented by me.
Oh, you were nothing without me. So just let it be, huh?
As you can see, the stories are many, but I'll tell you the one that seems most true to me. It was Marchione, who was working as a pushcart vendor in Wall Street. Like many of his fellow mates, he used to sell flavored ice to people, who in turn called people like him the Hokey Pokey Man. But there was a problem. The customers were served the flavored ice cream in glass cups.
And many of them would just forget to give the cups back to us, or would just break them by mistake. There was so much loss.
And that's why he wanted to come up with an edible cup to serve the flavored ice. That's when the journey to this remarkable invention started. Marchione would spend nights experimenting with the waffles. He was trying to make cones out of them. And then it finally struck him.
If I fold these waffles and keep them to cool, they retain their shape. Voila! Now I can serve my flavored ice cream in this cone-like cup. Whoa! There won't be any breakage, there won't be any loss.
Since Marchione was good at mechanics and business, he soon adapted the design of the waffle iron to create a device into which batter for waffles could be poured and baked in multiples. Finally, when he was happy with his invention, he applied to patent his invention in 1902.
And in 1903, I got the patentship.
Hey, but many say I'm the inventor of the cones.
Oh yes, let me talk about the story of you now. Yes, that's right. Many do say that it was Ernest Humway who invented the ice cream cone. It was one of those usual days in 1904 when Humway was selling waffle-like pastry called jalabis in his cart. But one day hell broke loose when the ice cream seller beside ran out of cups while selling his ice cream. Some stories say that Humway got the idea to roll his waffles in the shape of a cone and helped his fellow mate. While some stories say that it was Marchione who was the ice cream vendor and he asked Humway to make cones out of his waffles. One invention and two stories. Trivia time! It was in the year of 1924 when the cone production rose to a record-breaking number of 245 million cones. The world's tallest ice cream cone is 3.8 meters high for an ice cream in Norway. So friends, while I have this lovely bite of this cone, you tell me in which year did Marchione get his patentship? Tune in next time for more fun facts. This is me zooming out. Hey guys, are you ready to watch this video? And do you have your popcorn with you? Just wait while I get mine ready. It will hardly take me a minute, thanks to this wonderful microwave. Did you know that the microwave was an accidental invention?
What? I was an accident? But...
Oh, Micro, I didn't want you to hear that. I'm sorry. Please don't cry.
I think I need my heating therapy.
Oh, yes. Here, heat some of this for me, please.
I thought people like me.
Of course they do. People love you. This is what I was going to tell our friends about today. The invention of the microwave. Come on, zoom in. Our story begins in the year 1894 when a young boy named Percy Spencer was born to a couple in Maine. Sadly, his father passed away only 1 year after his birth. So his mother gave him to his aunt and uncle to raise. And raise him they did.
Oh, you're such a curious little lad. And hardworking too, huh?
Which was good because when he was 8, his uncle passed away and he had to drop out of school. in order to help his aunt run the house. He spent the next few years working at the spool mill until one day he heard that the paper mill nearby was going to start using electricity.
Oh my! This is electrifying!
This really sparked an interest in young Percy, and he began learning all that he could about electricity. So much so that when the paper mill started hiring, he was one of the only 3 people to be hired to install electricity at the mill.
And my joy knew no bounds.
At the age of 18, Percy joined the US Navy. This turn of events happened as Percy got interested in wireless communication after hearing about the wireless operators aboard the Titanic when it sank.
And very soon, I became the world's leading expert in radar tube design. Ha ha!
While building some radar equipment, Percy noticed that the peanut cluster bar in his pocket had become a gooey mess.
But I hardly felt any heat there. And this incident sparked some great interest in me. I felt the need for more experiments and more tasks and experiments and this was making me so happy.
So, he tried some corn kernels next and pop. They became popcorns. He even showed it to one of his colleagues, but switched the corn for an egg.
Silly me. And the egg exploded.
This gave Percy the idea of putting the contraption in a box.
In 1945, I got the patentship on the microwave, which was only one of the 150 patents to my name.
But his microwave was huge and could be only used by restaurants. The first commercial microwave wasn't until 1972, and over the years, as the technology got better and better, the microwave became an inseparable part of any food industry and has now become an everyday household item.
Hey, but my uses are more than what you guys think. I'm used in other industries to dry cork, ceramics, paper, leather, tobacco, textiles, pencils, flowers, wet books, and even matches.
See? You're loved by everybody. Quite a history to our common kitchen appliance, don't you think?
Oh, that's my favorite sound. Dr. Binocs, aren't we all heading for the...
Trivia time! Percy Spencer was a completely self-taught physicist. He even learned trigonometry, calculus, chemistry and metallurgy all by himself. Microwaves were earlier known as electronic ovens. So kids, pop in some popcorns and tell me what was the first piece of food cooked in a microwave. Tune in next time for more fun facts. This is me zooming out. Hey! Stop it! Get back here!
Whee! Woohoo! Sorry! Woohoo!
Oof! Stop breaking everything, Jumper! Hey friends, this fellow got out of his pod and started destroying my entire house. That's why you shouldn't let alien species live in your basement.
Why didn't you get me here earlier, Dr. B? This planet is so much fun! Whee!
Well, it's a good thing we have super glue to fix all this. And while I begin this long process of putting everything back together, let me tell you about this neat little invention. Zoom in! The story of this invention begins with Harry Coover. He was a chemist working for a company named Eastman Kodak in 1942. He and his team had been tasked with finding a suitable plastic to create clear plastic gun sights at the time of World War I. During their research, they came across a family of compounds called cyanoacrylates. And to their surprise, this compound stuck to everything. And I mean everything. So clearly, it was discarded.
Discarded? But wasn't this the invention of the superglue?
Not yet, Jumper. There's more to this story.
Okay.
9 years later, after the war was over, Coover began working at another Kodak chemical plant in Tennessee. Here he was asked to research on finding heat-resistant polymers for airplane jet engines. And yet again, this team came across the cyanoacrylates. Being too sticky for the job, the team discarded them. But this time, Coover had an idea.
I know there is some way to make this famous. I wonder what I could use them for. I better work on them some more.
While working on them, he realized that these cyanoacrylates become extremely strong adhesives in the presence of water molecules, like the ones in air. This meant that they could be used anytime and anywhere. And finally, in 1958, Eastman Kodak launched this adhesive as super glue.
This is great! These adhesives can be used to fix anything. And I can get another patent under my belt. Another? How many patents did he have?
Well, Harry Coover didn't just invent super glue. He held patents to over 460 other inventions in his lifetime.
Whoa! That's a lot of inventions! That's right, my weird-looking friend. Did you know a 1 square inch bonding of superglue can hold up to a ton of weight? As a demonstration, superglue has been used to bond a small surface area of metal attached to a crane, which was then glued to the top of a car. And to everyone's disbelief, the car was lifted off the ground without the bond breaking. Wow, that's amazing!
Whoa. It's my job to tell such facts. And that means it's trivia time! Cyanoacrylate is also used as a forensic tool to capture fingerprints on non-porous surfaces like glass, plastic, etc. Superglue was actually used in the Vietnam War to help close the wounds of soldiers while they were being transported to hospitals to receive stitches. See, Jumper, I would have been a lot more upset with you if I didn't have this wonderful invention.
That means I can jump around and break even more stuff! Yay! Whee!
No, that's not what I meant. Come back here. You guys, while I try to get Jumper to calm down, why don't you tell me what is the compound called that makes up superglues? And tune in next time for more such amazing facts. This is me zooming out. Jumper! Come back here! Wow! I just love playing with clay. It's so much fun and you can do so much with it. You can even make new friends with it.
Hello! Hey-ya!
See? Hello friends, how are you today? Welcome to this beautiful world.
Thank you, Dr. Binocs. It certainly is a beautiful world. I can't wait to explore it. But what are we made of? We are so stretchy and soft and bendable. This is so much fun. It is, look. I'm tall now. Now I'm short. Now I'm long!
Oh, you guys. Well, to answer your question, you guys are made of a clay-like substance. And today I'm going to tell your friends about your oh so colorful history. Come with me. Zoom in. Play-Doh was first invented not as a toy, but as a cleaning supply. Noah McKeever, the inventor of the wondrous clay, initially sold it as wallpaper cleaner, which was a big thing back in 1955. Can you tell me why they needed their wallpapers cleaned so often?
I know. It's because back then they used coal as a major fuel, which when burnt in heaters and boilers inside the house left black coal residue on the walls.
That is correct. And because of this, Noah was banking on the enormous market. But after the Second World War, the world shifted to using natural gas as its main fuel. This, along with the emergence of washable wallpapers, led to the substantial decline of Noah's sales. This put his family business, Good Old Products, in danger of bankruptcy. Fortunately, Noah's nephew, Joe McKeever, entered the scene and helped turn the sales chart over. And he couldn't have done it without his sister-in-law, Kay Zoloff, who was a nursery teacher. She was the one who came up with the idea that saved Good Old Products.
Wow! I wonder how she did that. I knew it! Like they say, behind every successful man is the hand of a woman.
Kay Zoloff had heard about other teachers using the Good Old wallpaper cleaning compound as modeling clay for kids. She tried it with her own students and they loved it. Seeing this, she convinced Noah McKeever and even their competitor to rebrand their products as arts and crafts clay for kids. She even came up with the name for it with her husband and thus christened this new clay, Play-Doh.
Wow! What a wonderful story! I feel so special!
And you should, for a measly wallpaper wiping mixture to the top-selling clay for children all over the world.
We do have a lot to be thankful for. Am I right, Dr. Binocs?
That you do. And I'll tell you some more cool stuff you might not have known in this next part we like to call Trivia Time. In 2003, the Toy Industry Association made Play-Doh a part of its Century of Toys list, which contains the top 100 most memorable and creative toys of the last 100 years. Since its invention in 1955, over 700 million pounds of Play-Doh have been sold all across the globe. See? Wasn't that an amazing story?
Wow! I never knew we are such an amazing invention! Why would they even think of making us wallpaper cleaners when we are this much fun to play with? I'm just glad we're not toxic. Otherwise, no one would have been able to play with us.
And that would have been such a waste. Isn't that right, guys? Well, that's it for today. While I go and play with my new friends here, can you tell me the name of the company that now owns Play-Doh? I'm sure you have some lying around. So tune in next time for more fun facts. This is me zooming out. Hey friends! Oh no! The lights went out! It's a good thing I have you nearby, Flamion. You can help me find my matchsticks.
Of course, Dr. B. I got this.
Aha! There we go! Isn't this an amazing invention? With these matchsticks, we can start a fire anywhere.
It's always good to have fire around.
That's true, but it wasn't always this easy. Come, today I will tell you about fire and the invention of matchsticks. Zoom in! Did you know, Flamion, that fire has been a key ingredient in human evolution.
Of course, since the age of caveman, fire has helped humans stay cozy, cook delicious meals, make advanced tools, and all these other amazing inventions.
That's right, but it was never easy to create fire. It required a lot of time and effort to get a fire going. And even then, it depended on the winds, the rain, the right kind of stones, etc. To solve this problem, many scientists have been working on it for ages. And one of these solutions was the matchstick.
The matchstick sure is revolutionary. All you gotta do is strike it against a rough paper and it catches fire. Anytime, anywhere.
Yes, but even this invention has a long history behind it. One of the first examples of matchsticks comes from China in the year 577 AD. These were wooden sticks dipped in sulfur. However, they were nothing like the matchsticks of today. When the sulfur on them came in contact with a flame, it would ignite. So they always needed a flame to start. These sticks were used to spread already existing flames. And by 1270 AD, they were being sold in marketplaces as fire-inch sticks. Over the next millennium, many different chemists worked on improving this fire-making method. And the backbone of them all was a German chemist named Hennig Brandt. He discovered back in 1669 that the element called phosphorus could also burn.
Yeah, but you wouldn't believe he was actually looking for a way to make the mythical Philosopher's Stone.
Well, using the information from Brandt, John Walker was able to introduce the world's first strike matchstick in 1826. One day, he was working in his lab mixing some chemicals with a stick. He later noticed that a lump had formed on one end of it. He tried to remove it by rubbing it across the floor. And to his surprise, it caught fire. He then combined sulfur paste with potassium chlorate, antimony and sugar to create the first friction lights. These matchsticks were 3 inches long and came in a round can with a piece of sandpaper in it to light them.
And funnily enough, even though these matches did not always light reliably and gave out a bad odor when lit, they became quite popular.
Then, in the 1830s, a French chemist named Charles Soriot created the Strike Anywhere matchstick. He made these using sulfur, potash, antimony, and white phosphorus. These became a huge hit as they would always light and also didn't have any odor issues.
But didn't these have much bigger problems instead?
They sure did. Because white phosphorus is an extremely flammable and toxic compound. People who made and carried them during production suffered severe health problems. Children also tried to eat them as they had sugar in them and tasted sweet, which led to many birth defects. This caused a huge problem, and these matchsticks had to be banned along with the banning of white phosphorus.
Well, that's a relief. So who made the actual matchsticks we know today?
Well, finally in 1855, Gustav Erik Pasch was the first man to invent the safety matchstick. He changed the use of white phosphorus to red phosphorus. He also put the phosphorus onto a separate striking surface instead of the matchstick itself. These made the matchsticks more reliable, safer, and better for health and the environment. And by 1858, with the help of inventor and industrialist Johann Edward Lundstrom. These matchsticks were mass-produced and sold across the world.
Wow! Who knew these little things have such a long history to them? And now comes my favorite part.
Trivia time! The hobby of collecting matchbook covers is called philumeny. Joshua Pussey from Philadelphia patented the first book matches in 1892. He called them flexible matches. Oh, look! The lights are back! Thanks for helping me out today, Flamion.
No worries, Dr. B.
Well, friends, that's it for today. Tune in next time for more fun facts. This is me zooming out.
Hey, that's a spelling mistake.
Oops, you're right. I made a mistake, but since I'm using a pencil, I can fix it.
Oh, sure you can. That's the best thing about me. I'm all about second chances. I allow you to correct your mistakes.
Sure you do. So why not talk about you today, Mr. Pencil?
Oh, no second thoughts on that idea. Go on, Dr. B. Tell them all about me.
So friends, what are we waiting for? Let's talk about the invention of pencils today. Zoom in. Well, before we directly jump onto pencils, I want you to tell me what are pencil leads made of? Are you thinking? Come on, put some pressure on those brain cells. Oh yes, you got that right. Pencil leads are made of graphite.
Graphite, huh? I always thought it was actual lead.
Well, graphite was discovered in Borrowdale, England in the early 1500s. The story goes that one fine day, the locals saw some uprooted trees. When they tried to investigate, they came across a strange dark ore underneath.
Hey, what's this, mate?
I don't know, yeah? Looks like a lump of black sand.
Of course not. This is harder than sand. Let's show it to our fellow mates, eh?
And they all started thinking about the new strange material. Very soon it was found that the black material
Leaves its color behind. Oh, boy!
Yes, this is spectacular.
Hey, why don't we mark our sheep with it? Doing that, we'd know which sheep belongs to whom.
That's a brilliant idea, mate.
And that's how the locals used this black material called graphite to mark their sheep.
But isn't it weird? Something solid leaving its color behind? How does that happen, Dr. Binocs?
That's an interesting property of graphite itself. Graphite is made of layers of carbon atoms. These carbon atoms look like flat sheets on top of each other, connected by bonds that are kinda weak. This allows the sheet of carbon atoms to slide easily. So, when you drag a piece of graphite across a piece of paper, it leaves a mark.
Wow! Who knew there is so much going on in such a simple looking thing?
That's right, my friend. Did you know when people found how messy it was to use a graphite stick, they originally used string or cloth to cover the graphite?
Then who came up with the idea of using wood?
It is believed that an Italian couple came up with this genius idea in 1560. However, later in 1795, an officer in the Napoleon army, Nicolas Jacques Conté, came up with what we see as modern pencils today. The process was simple. He roasted a mixture of water, clay and graphite at 1900 Fahrenheit and encased a small wooden covering over it.
But what's the use of this mixture when graphite worked so well?
This mixture helped him create different kinds of pencils. The more the clay the mixture had, the lighter was the stroke of the pencil. And this is how the HB scale was invented. Trivia time! In the HB scale, H stands for hard and B means black. Graphite has been derived from the Greek word graphene, which means to write. So friends, where was graphite discovered? Till the time you rack your brain to come up with the right answer, I'll go make some sketches with
Me!
Tune in next time for more fun facts. This is us zooming out. Oh, hey guys. I was supposed to do something today, but I just can't seem to remember. I do remember writing it down somewhere. What was it? What was I?
Hey, Dr. B, look what I found on the fridge. It's a sticky note saying you have to tell your friends about sticky notes today.
Oh, that's right. Thanks, Gluey. See, friends, aren't these little things just so convenient? You can never forget anything if you put it on a sticky note. But did you know that these were invented by accident?
Oh, really, Dr. B? I can't wait to learn more about them.
Then let's not waste any more time and let me tell you and my friends all about the invention of the sticky notes. Zoom in! Our story begins with a scientist in a lab.
As usual.
Well, we have to start with the inventor now, don't we? So, as I was saying, our story begins in the year 1968 with the scientist named Dr. Spencer Silver. Spencer was busy researching adhesives for the company 3M. He was asked to develop stronger and more powerful adhesives. While working, however, Dr. Spencer came across something entirely opposite of that.
He found super weak adhesives?
That's right! He developed an adhesive that consisted of microspheres. Because of them, something could be sticky but also be removed easily. He knew that this kind of an adhesive could definitely be useful, but he couldn't figure out what.
That's hilarious! He had a solution, but no problem!
That's right, but he wasn't one to give up. He kept telling his friends about this amazing adhesive and didn't give up looking for some use for them. For the next 5 years, he kept talking about his invention to his colleagues and in different seminars. But no one listened. Still, he didn't give up.
Wow! Talk about being persistent!
Funny you should say that. You know, they used to call me Mr. Persistent back at the lab because I wouldn't give up on my adhesive.
Well, that's as good a compliment as any.
And good thing too, because my persistence soon paid off.
That's right. Now we come to the problem that sparked it off. In 1974, another scientist named Arthur Fry was having trouble with his bookmarks. You see, he used to go to the choir every week and would use small pieces of paper as bookmarks. But the next week, whenever he opened his hymn book, he saw that his bookmarks had fallen off. And this happened over and over again with whatever he tried. It was very frustrating for him. He wanted a bookmark that would stick but not ruin the pages of his book. That's when he remembered the seminar in which Spencer had spoken about his adhesive. He rushed to Spencer Silver with an idea. The two of them developed pieces of paper with the microsphere adhesive on it to use it as the bookmark. And then they started using these papers to leave work notes on each other's desks. That's when they realized the true potential of their amazing invention.
We both decided to use our own office as the testing grounds for these notes. We shared these notes with everybody at our office and were amazed to see that everyone loved them. We had come up with a brand new way of communicating.
So, in 1977, the company 3M started selling these as press and peel to bookstores and such, but didn't get very good results. So they changed their approach and started handing them to customers directly as samples. and the notes spread like wildfire. Thus, the sticky notes were invented.
People would often put them on files and documents to send notes, and this created curiosity in others. And they also went and bought a pad of sticky notes. It was the best marketing ever.
And aren't we glad it worked? Now, I don't forget anything if I put it on a sticky note.
Except forgetting where you keep the notes themselves.
Then, before I forget, let's move on to our next segment, which is Trivia Time! The original color of the notes was yellow because that was the only color of paper Dr. Spencer could find. It would take approximately 506,880,000 sticky notes to circle the world once. So friends, can you name the company Dr. Spencer worked for? I hope you had fun. Don't forget to tune in next time for more fun facts. Write it on a note if you need to. This is me zooming out. Hey kids, you liked my videos, didn't you? Before you go, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the bell so you won't miss out on my latest videos. See you.